My name is Derek Follini. My family's been in the restaurant business since 1943. We've been on Baxter Street. You're just taking a chance. Being a small businessman, you're taking a chance. Can I make the bills? How long can you survive before you can't? Small businesses have a problem today. I don't know what to tell you. It's a very tough situation. In our place, it's pretty much always been the courts. We favored the courts. Everything with us is always the courthouse, PD. We get a lot of tourists now. We get good write-ups. Occasionally you get somebody who's on trial who, I don't know what their business is, and they'll be in our place eating. That happens. But we're basically a court place. We're noticed by, New York City court system, correction department, PD. That's how our place was built on reputation. We have a lot of great judges that come here, lawyers, DAs. We have so many of them that come here over the years. We also get actors and actresses. We've had baseball players. I'm 43 years in the business, so when you put a lot of years in, I know a lot of these guys when they're DAs, and now today they're judges, so time flies, and, they move up, and they become friends of yours, not only customers of yours over the years. If you get educated and, you don't have to work the long hours, it never has really a day, an hour where you open and close. It's got moments where you have to put in an extra hour, you have to get to work an extra hour earlier, you have to go shopping for your place. If you want to survive, it's a lot of hours. And there's no such thing as you're off. You may be off and you're shopping for the restaurant, or you're calling up a customer and you're saying, how you been? How's everything? Thank you for giving me a party. It's a tough business. When you go to work and you're working for a company and you go to work at 9, 5 o'clock, you're done. Nobody tells you, you want to stay 3 more hours? I have this client coming. It doesn't work like that. They say, no, I'm done at 5. I want to go home. So that's the difference, and the young generation just doesn't want to put in the ridiculous, 16-hour days. It's just too long for them, and, they get to the point where they're like, I don't want to put in the hours. And I believe that's the difference, and today they get educated, and, when you're educated, you can do a lot of different things. I think the immigrants, a lot of them came here and knew how to cook and said, hey, this is the business to go into, we could survive, People don't realize when you're in this business, it isn't like every day's Christmas. You get snow days where you have nobody coming in, or a train strike, or an attack in New York, which, all affects business. You don't know. You could think someone's doing good because he says he's paying the rent. You don't even know if he's 6 months behind to the landlord or not. A lot of people say they're doing great. They give them a month, and then the next 3 months they're not paying the guy. By the time the landlord gets him in court, it takes him probably a year to get rid of the guy. So before you know it, everybody's saying, oh, he was doing fantastic over there. Was he really? He's not there no more. If the small businessman can't afford it, you can't do nothing about it. It's like the bodegas and, the old pizza shops. There's that. If they can't afford the rent, people don't patronize them. They're not going to make it, and the big stores are just going to take over. Electric bill, like if you want to go back, probably when my uncle was running the place, they maybe were paying $800-900 a month in Con Edison. Today it's probably about $7,000. Everything got very expensive. Your water bill got very, very expensive. It's not like years ago where it might have been like a few $100s a month in water bill. Now you're talking about thousands. So everything's gotten expensive, and the unfortunate part is you also have to keep your prices competitive so people want to come back and patronize you. If you try to raise it according to the way you've been raised, you're going to raise yourself out of business. Property tax, same thing. They've escalated. It's crazy today. It's probably about, I'd say, close to $80,000 a year in property tax. But it's 2 buildings. We own 2 buildings. Where it might have been like a quarter of the price going back when my father started in the business. When I talked to my uncle, who's still 92 years old, he still believes I'm paying the prices from the 1960s. And when he hears the price, he goes, how could it be? How you guys survive? How does the building pay us? As we do, but it's hard. And as time goes on, a lot of young people want to better their lives. They don't want to live in Manhattan no more. They want to, go to a borough, buy a home and live a different life. This is, these are old apartment buildings, People did what they had to do to survive. Today it's a different world. People today say, hey, I could do maybe a little better. I want to try to, work a little harder in the job I do and live in a different area. I don't want to live in Manhattan no more. These are old buildings. It's not modern. In Manhattan itself, it's just very hard to come in as a person looking to open up a business, unless you ain't got the backing of these big companies to say, I want to open up a business in Manhattan. It's very expensive, unless you want to take a chance. And, some of these buildings are going for $10 million. You got to come up with $10 million to, where are you going to get the backing from? Who's going to back you? It's a tough situation, But I believe that, if they get too ridiculous, New York's going to look like Detroit. 30 years from now, we'll be like Detroit. It'll be an empty ghost town because everybody outpriced themselves, and then they're going to have to start all over again. Reduce some prices, start to build up the area again, As long as people are willing to pay the crazy rents, they're going to take them. When 15 stores go empty, 20 stores go empty, and it becomes that a whole block went empty, they're going to have a choice. Either keep an empty store or take a little less and get somebody back in the store again. The more money these big places have, the more they have in buying power. They could buy more meat from a meat company and probably get a better price than me. And same thing with liquor and anything else. The more you buy in quantity, they have more buying power. Easier it is for them to pass it on for a cheaper price. What we do in our place, we butcher our own meats. That's how we keep our costs down. I don't know if they have butchers in their place. Other places they may have buying the cutlets already cut. Then you're paying a higher price. What we do, we try to keep our, we buy the whole leg of veal. That's how we try to keep our prices down. Rent is based on how much you want to pay. If you're willing to pay the $20,000 or $30,000, whatever number they're bringing, they're going to keep going at that rate. But if people start walking away, there's a couple of stores on Canal Street right now that have been empty for over a year. So eventually they're going to either have to drop their rate or they're going to have no customers. So, I'm sure they made good money on who they rented to for the last few years, but after a while, even that money disappears and they're going to have to lower their price because people are not going to rent. I believe the store just opened up across the street. I don't know what he was playing prior, but someone came back after 2 years and put in a bid again and probably got the price lowered a little bit. I don't know if he's going to survive. It's still tough numbers to make. Restaurant business is like a plant. You water your plant, the flower grows. You don't care about your business, you ignore it, they're going to go somewhere else.